good stuff. So as I got older, I began to hear the whispers, you know, from the family members and things like that. But irregardless to that, Jewel Clemmons lived her life. And what I mean by that, in the 70s, trailblazer. She did not care. She was unapologetic. She didn't conform to society. You had to really be brave because there wasn't a whole lot of or clubs that gay people could go to. You know, you had Rayford's and you had Club Paradise. And it had other little hole in the wall spots where people used to go and congregate and have shows and entertain and things like that. So growing up, there weren't a lot of places. You had the family fair only on Sunday nights. There was gay night. They knew it was through the rest of the week. It was different nights. So one night was pegged as being gay night. And they used to do drag shows. And sometimes at straight venues, they would do drag shows with Miss Peaches. My sister was a pussycat. Peaches and the Pussycat, the original Pussycat. Peaches had a dance group, and she had girls dancing behind her, and they called them the Pussycats. And they would go around to different places and perform, even at straight places. Peaches would come in. Everybody know Miss Peaches used to do the parades back in the day and taught the girls how to dance and majorettes. So we lived through that era. I lived through that era, and my brother became ill. My sister became ill. And when she became ill, we didn't know what was going on. And when she went to the hospital, they came out and said she has full-blown AIDS. Dr. Mary said they don't say that anymore. So we were trying to figure out what is that and what are you talking about. We didn't know. So we didn't get any education. We didn't get anything. And during this time, the medicine was very harsh. The acronyms AZT and another mixture of drugs. And more than likely, the complications from the medication is what took her out, opposed to the contracting HIV AIDS itself. And during this time, when we used to go to the hospital and visit her, they would make us, and also the nurses would put on biohazard suits.
Wow.
Full white biohazard suits, and we had to dress in biohazard suits. So can you imagine you're on your hospital bed, and your family come in, and they got to have a mask on and a biohazard suit, and everybody come in your room to take your temp, feed you, get your blood pressure check, whatever, with a biohazard suit on.
Wow.
Right. And they had a big sign on the door, contaminated.
Wow.
Red sign on the door. Honest to God. And we didn't know, what was going on, and we didn't know any better, and nobody sat the family down to talk to us, to tell us what to do. And Jill was in and out the hospital a couple of times, and after being diagnosed, she only lived a year. And the complications and the side effects from the medicine took a toll on her. But needless to say, from the time there to now, knowing what I know now, she wouldn't have survived with the kind of treatment that was available, medical treatment, and not knowing her status. Because by the time she found out, it had just taken a toll on her body. And the family was there, and it was a big deal about the burial choice. And most of the time, people leave wishes or make their wishes known, to their family, and especially if you live your life as a woman. And then the decision was made, and Jewel, the religion aspect kicked in and say, I want to be buried as a man. So that was kind of rough. And I think knowing now, she probably wouldn't have made that choice now because it is more socially acceptable and people have a better understanding. And one way you make people change their mind and their opinion, because the truth changes, is through education.
Well, people always use scripture abuse to make anybody feel guilty. And so if I can take a scripture and make you feel guilty on your deathbed, it'll have you thinking twice. You're going to go to hell if you don't get your life right. I have never seen the hand of God. And I don't know anybody else who has seen the hand of God. I have never, ever, ever heard God say, I'm going to send somebody to hell. That's some man-made rhetoric that needs to be stopped. And that's why the people perish, because of lack of knowledge. Religion has ruined many of people and many of cultures and families and all the above. Once again, I am so tired of these hypocrite religious people because our people are dying every day, and we have to continue to tell these stories. These stories are so important for people to hear, because like last night, you said an individual was in their 70s. Drew would have been how old? 60-something?
Yeah, probably because Linda's 60, probably about 64, 65.
And it was an individual in the room in the 70s last night, and they were there with their mother, supporting them. And it's so important, if an individual is infected by HIV, it's important to have a great support cast behind them, because you cannot make it by yourself. You can make it by yourself, but it's harder for you to make it by yourself. But if you have support, you can make it with the support of other people supporting you, making sure you're getting the right treatments, making sure you're keeping your CD4 count up and your viral load undetectable so you won't pass it on. And for the record, a CD4 count is a measure of immune function. And you measure somebody's CD4 level, and you can see how much HIV has affected their immune system. So that shows the progression of the virus. And the viral load is measured about how much HIV is in someone's body. The higher the viral load, the more infectious someone is. So you want to get the viral load low, and you want to keep the CD4 count up so the person can't get sick and get any other diseases to make their immune system weak. And that's why we say people need to be educated on HIV and AIDS.
You're absolutely right, Shad Duncan. People act like God hiring. She said God don't need their help. You're absolutely right. So we got pushback, right? For the Unleashed Voice magazine, because we are intentional about every issue. We talk about AIDS and HIV awareness. Every issue we have a religious spirituality section. Every issue we talk about what's going on, and we don't just jump into mainstream trying to be fashion and teach y'all about red bottoms. You can find that out. Watch your TV shows, reality shows. You can get fed over there, because we're gonna try to feed you another way. So last night, you never know who watching you and who appreciate what you do. And I had this distinguished doctor, Dr. Mary Bernard, pulled me over, and she said, we was having this conversation about you. And I was like, me? She was like, yeah, me and some friends, and we was talking about the magazine. And that we love the magazine and the work you all are doing, because y'all talk about things that people don't want to talk about, that they're uncomfortable talking about. And we love the fact that you all are pushing the boundary and keeping the conversation open and keeping it out in the forefront. And I was like, wow, thank you. And you never know who watches you. And I've never met that lady in my life. But she knew me, and she made it her business to tell me that they appreciate the work we do, and that just made my day, and it will go. I would carry that with me for a long time. So one of the things and the topics that we talk about is removing the stigma. Because my sister suffered needlessly by being subjected to stigma. Right. People will make her feel ashamed, ridiculed, alienated, fail to give support, all of that, because she was HIV positive. And we had a lot of conversations, and we talked a lot about that. She knew she was at the face of death and what was going on, and we talked about that and made some promises to each other, and that I don't want to really share right now. But I just want people to know, especially people, if you love people in your family, and they need your support. They don't need your opinion. Okay, you can keep that. You can keep that. If you have to be a friend or be there for somebody, because I've lost so many friends. I did a roll call on Facebook, and unbeknown to me, I named about 9 friends without even thinking, and left off to a few because somebody came back and called a couple of more names. And I went to a lot of funerals in the 1980s and 90s. I did with my friends. They were just dropping, boom, 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 because they didn't know their status. They were out having unprotected sex, high-risk sex, infected, didn't get in treatment. The treatment sucked, but the treatment now is so much better. So that's what we do. We push the agenda about getting in treatment, knowing your status. HIV treatment does work, and we're big advocates for AIDS and HIV at the Unleashed Voice.
Yeah, it's important, and I went to Memphis Catholic School on one day last week with Father Val and Beth Truitt and is it Truitt?
Yeah, Beth Truitt.
Truitt. And we talked to the faculty and the staff about diversity and inclusion, and it was a good conversation, hard conversation, due to the fact that people don't like to talk about diversity and inclusion. They don't talk about race. They don't talk about things of that nature, but it's important to talk about these things. And it's a struggle. You grapple with those kind of things, and you should grapple with those kind of things because it goes against everything you've been taught, everything that's been embedded in you, everything that you read. You should question why so-and-so said this in the Bible. You should question why you believe this. You should be questioning why I was taught this. You should question all those things. You should never just take something for face value and just walk with it. You should question everything you do. And we grappled. We talked and we grappled, and some were yay, some were nay, but we talked. And it's good to have good, mature dialogue. I don't talk to ignorant people. I don't get on ignorant people level. I have good, mature dialogue, educated dialogue, and we talk. And another thing a person said in the room, you know, we don't understand the mystery of God. God is a very mysterious person, and we don't understand it. And there's no way you can understand it. We should stop trying to figure that out, because you'll never understand it. And it's important for us to continue these conversations. Important for us to keep an open mind when talking. If you know too much right now and you don't want to learn, I think you need to go over there to New Park Cemetery and buy you a plot and buy you a grave and go ahead and get in and put some dirt on top of it, because you don't need to be in this world. People like you mess the world up. But we will continue these conversations. We will continue to have these hard conversations because people's lives are on the line. And like my mother said, your opinion does not matter. I heard Magic Johnson, he was interviewed by Steve Harvey, he was talking about him and his son EJ. And Magic Johnson said, I don't care about what people think about me. They don't pay our bills. They don't feed me. So why should I think about, this is my son. I'm going to support my son. I'm going to love my son regardless. And that's to be your family member. Don't let a preacher turn you against your own child. Don't let family and friends turn you against your child. That's your child. And God bless you to have a child, and you take care of your child. And do not turn your back to your child mothers when you find out your child's gay or come out with HIV or whatever.
Absolutely.
Do not turn your back on your child. That's one of the most ridiculous things I've heard in my life. I hate to hear things like this. But nevertheless, don't let people turn you against your blood.
Absolutely. I mean, because it kind of reminds me of when I had the conversation with B. Slade, who's going to be here coming up. You didn't make that announcement, did you?
B. Slade will be at our church on December the 18th.
And in Memphis, Tennessee.
In Memphis, Tennessee. And in the studio with us live on December the 17th. Yeah,
B. Slade is going to be here. So make sure you put that date in your phone as a reminder. But B. Slade talked about going back to the place where people hurt you. Mm-hmm. And why should you keep going back? And, you know, a lot of us carry childhood scars and pain and things like that still follow us right now. Mm-hmm. So in that context, you know, we have to heal. We have to heal from the pain that's been inflicted upon us.
Absolutely.
As children. And my thing is that I have some non-negotiables, and I'm not compromising. And it's all of me or none of me. If you can't love all of me, then it's none of me. And we're not going to even entertain being in each other's space because it's unwelcome.
Well, we got like a minute left, but some instances you must go back to deal with it before you move on. You can't just move on and not deal with that past hurt. So go deal with it, then you move on. And if it don't work out, you wash your hands, you dust your feet, and you hit it. But nevertheless, we're going to get out of here.
Birthday shouts out.
Yeah, we got like 1 minute left.
Cousin Paula, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Cousin Jeff Matlock, happy birthday. Cousin Latina Yarbrough, happy birthday. Mm-hmm. And also I want to send condolences out to the White family, Melvin White, who passed in New York City. Melvin is on his way home for his last arrival in Memphis, Tennessee. So rest in peace, cuz. Mm-hmm.
So next week we're going to have our Black Tie Gala. Masquerade Ball, and get your tickets. Eventbrite, or come to the church, get them. Cathedral Foundation, support us, don't hate, support us. See y'all next Saturday. We out of here. Ow!
Yes, wanna play that the fun hits and promote positiveness. Hey, got your cue on the mic with the one and only Skeeter. When it comes to being real, I swear to God they can't beat them. They about to blow some minds with this movement that's coming through. When it comes to unleash, they speak nothing but the truth. LGBTQ, this show is for you. Now you got a voice. Tell them what you gonna do. Blood what's love. Blood what's love. Blood what's love.
The Mid-South station with the most local talk and CBS News at the top of every hour.
Oh, that hurt.